Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyatela.
on 702.
19 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go straight to your calls. Luther, you're calling us from Gugulethu. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement. How's it?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
Yes, man. Regarding this thing about gender-based violence and what we need to do to improve our situation, like as men. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, Clement, because if I'll talk about my experience, the pressures that I've gotten is actually coming from the ladies, the women. They actually was like intimidating me, like to force me to react violently to a situation. Ever since I was a kid, I was told, so what are you going to do now? You know, so that thing of even the women, the little girls, the girlfriends, you know, people are toxic and they want you to react in a way that maybe their traumas affected them, you know. So I think the society, we need to unlearn a lot of things as young men, and hopefully we're going to get programs to help us, you know, because I've never beaten a girlfriend or my wife when we're arguing with her. Sometimes when it's heated, I just leave, start the car and go to the guys. But then the society has trained us as men to always react violently to situations, you know. So, I mean, we need to unlearn a lot of things, man.
How do we unlearn that, Luther, and where do we begin? Because I think many times when we talk about these things, we say we need to do this, but how do we do it? Like, where do we begin? Because we have all been socialized to believe in a particular way, right? Yes, the reason young women, when you were young, were also telling you, be a man, respond like a man, is because society expects men to respond in a particular way. They expect women to behave or respond in a particular way. When there are instances of violence, men, I mean, I once said, Luther, quickly, I remember I once had a meeting with someone. I had a meeting with someone and we were having a conversation and we started talking about gender-based violence. And this person, who was a man, who's married with kids, says to me, you know, growing up, there was a neighbor who sexually violated me. And I have never spoken about this because I didn't know how to go to people and say, as a man, another man touched me inappropriately. And then he goes on to say, I started even questioning my own sexuality because I was thinking to myself, why did this uncle from next door feel the need to touch me inappropriately or make me touch his genitals like that? Like, there are so many people who experience the most difficult things when they were young, and this was the first time this person that I was with was ever talking about this case. And I'm saying there are so many people out there who have been traumatized by events when they were young, and because they've not dealt with them, there are chances, like this study suggests, that they are going to find a way to express how they feel, and that could be through physical violence, that could be through sexual violence, that could be through them experiencing depression. So how do we deal, Luther, with all those traumas and how we've been socialized when we were young?
You know, Clement, I don't know how many ladies or girls or girlfriends I've met before that have told me I'm too kind. So they're not telling me that I'm too soft. They're telling me that I'm too kind. So I must be like masculine, like, I don't know, you know. So when this happens, they cry out, oh no, someone beat me up. But then how do you want me to react when you tell me I'm too kind? Am I not supposed to be kind to you? Or maybe we're upset and I don't react in a violent way. You know, am I not man enough? You know, those things. You know, we need role models, Clement. You know, like, seriously, just ask yourself, what would Clement do in this situation? Yeah. So young boys, we're always told that in a situation we have to react violently. I mean, young boys. I mean, just imagine. Recently, a 14-year-old looked at me when I was reprimanding him. He was doing something, you know, and I was reprimanding him. He looked at him and said, "I'm not scared of you because I know you don't have a gun."
Yeah, but also when they come back home as parents, what do we say? When your son comes back home and says, "Ubanbani beat me up," what do you say as a father? Be honest. You say there are some of you who say you're going to go there and avenge yourself. Don't let another man beat you. That's the kind of violence that we encourage in our society. We've got to be concerned, guys. It cannot be that we live in a country where Third, where so many women at some point in their lives have been physically and or sexually violated. That is not normal. But we have normalized it in our society. And there are some women who are also trying so hard to block that trauma. They're trying so hard to block it. I've had conversations with one woman once told me that, I was in therapy. And while we were in therapy, we were talking about childhood traumas. And my therapist kept on asking, what happened? Because this woman was telling me, this lady was telling me in therapy, she was telling her therapist about an instance that happened with a cousin who came and was getting her to kiss him, and the cousin was older than her. And then she says, but when I told my therapist, I just moved through it as if it's nothing. And the therapist says, hold on. Are you telling me that a cousin who was way older than you was telling you have to kiss her like a French kiss? We used to call it a French kiss when we were growing up. Like a French kiss is like a romantic, intimate, long kiss. This is not just a baby kiss, like an intimate, passionate kiss. This woman was expected to do that. The cousin expected that of her. And she says, I told the therapist and I was moving on. And the therapist says, hold on. What is that? And the lady says, no, it was just my cousin who was naughty. And then the therapist says, no, that is sexual violence. You were sexually assaulted. And this lady tells me I broke down because I realized in that moment that for the longest time, I always wanted to block that memory where my cousin would force me to kiss him and even touch his genitals. She says, I always justified it with, he was just a naughty cousin. He was just a naughty cousin in home and they were growing up together. That is not normal. And I bet you there are so many women out there who've experienced something similar. They've never acknowledged it as sexual violence, but it is. What do we need to do to deal with these childhood traumas? Because part of what this study tells us is that it begins when we are young. This comes from the beginning.
Yes, Clement, good morning. At the center of gender-based violence, cultural factors does play a huge role. How men have been socialized, of course, and even if you take the issue to the police station, most police officials still believe in a narrative that men are superior to women. So they're likely not to take cases of gender-based violence seriously. So there is a need for us to relearn and learn and learn new things as we progress in life. Jabu here.
Yeah, and Jabu, in our small circles, how are we unlearning? Because I'm trying to move the conversation forward, because you and I, every time we talk on the open line or on other segments of the show, when you engage other presenters on the station or on the platform, we always talk about they need to do something. Let me rephrase the question. What are you doing? What are you doing in your small circle, with your kids, with your partner, with your friends, to start the unlearning process? Because we can't always talk about, we need to do this. So what are we doing in our small circle? So when you're chilling with your friends and you guys, I don't know, taking a smoke, or you're chilling and there's a woman who passes, there's comments that are made about the woman, whistles, and what are you doing when you can clearly see the harassment? So we need to start reflecting on our own individual experiences and individual contributions. Give me a call on 011-883-0702. What are you doing with your kids, in your social circles, with your friends, with your colleagues, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man? The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702.